Howdy, howdy, everyone. I'm here with yet another one of our extensions of our Between Two Wolves follow-up series. I'm here with MistHelix today. Mist, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Ari?
I'm just fantastic. Thank you for asking. What are we doing? Where are we?
We're doing teal with some points. We haven't actually checked the points.
Oh yeah, we just ran
Um,
Bloodthirsty and Entropy.
one of pretty much everything.
Sweet. Love the variety. Did we get any Pernicious? That can always be crazy with all these floating islands.
No.
Nice.
We either got Burn 2 or Burn 0. One of the two. Pernicious 2.
Sweet.
I normally run this dungeon with Burn 5, so I'm used to it.
Excellent. And what are you running?
I
Class
am running Sword Sage.
Cool. You're gonna be a little bit more mobile than me. I'm Tenebrist.
Yeah, running Smokescreen. The one time.
Fantastic. So, for those who are unaware of your development history, what do you do on the team?
I do plugin development, code review, and web dev for the team.
Very cool. What have you added to the game that people can recognize?
Serious, various finishers. That's probably it that people can recognize that comes to mind.
Sirius is pretty massive. You want to tell us about that? How'd you get to take on a world boss as your?
No one else
How'd that go?
volunteered in the dev meeting,
There you go.
and I was still an intern at the time, and somehow they let me take on a world boss.
Funny how that works. Tell us about that. That's a whole story right there.
Yeah. So Hunts had been in development for years. Despite coming out like a few months ago. So when I joined, I worked on a few Hunts bosses, and then in a dev meeting, Fang went, I want to make Serious world boss," and I went, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then worked with Fang to develop Serious into a full world boss that has been playable for a while.
You're making that sound real easy, man.
I
So
mean, short of scheduling with WAP, relatively easy.
Wow.
WAP
Okay.
was supposed to help. Um, I don't think FWAP showed up to a single meeting.
Just because of scheduling issues, because other side of the world and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Such a small concern, really. I mean, Hong Kong.
I
Who cares?
Yeah,
Big excuse. Good
and then
excuse, man.
going on to do balance things with any Monumenta free time.
For sure.
So yeah, it wound up being a solo development with all sorts of wacky problems using displays that Mojang still keeps on breaking.
Don't they know that we're the most important thing that is being made using Minecraft?
Yeah, clearly.
They need to get their priorities in order. But
Well,
seriously,
they
well
need to.
done. Pun intended.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a pretty amazing accomplishment for a solo dev from being an intern.
Yeah.
Well done. So, what drew you first to Monumenta as a game before you were a dev?
So, I mean, I think this touches on later questions, but I used to play Skyblock a bit. And then Duralius posted a video on Monumenta, or was posting some videos on Monumenta, and I went, huh, this game looks more fun than Skyblock. And it in fact was more fun with less RNG than Skyblock.
Yay!
So I wound up moving over to Monumenta.
And did you join with anyone else? Did you play solo?
I played solo, and then later on have brought some friends to play the game, with two of them getting to R3.
Very good.
Somehow.
Anyone I'd know?
No.
Recognize their names? Okay.
No,
Like
they literally only play when I'm online.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of get that too. ABA only shows up in groups every once in a while. I get it.
Oh no, panic, there's a bridge.
Ah! This is horrible. Ladders are the worst ones because they're just bridges but vertical. And so I always have a moral quandary whenever I take a ladder. Am I compromising my premises right now? My principles?
How did you get to start point? You're anti-Bridges.
Oh man, yeah, I just had to close my eyes and become a hypocrite for several hours.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what drew you to step out to become a developer and apply?
So at the time, I was taking coding classes in high school and thought they were fun, but wanted to go deeper. And I went, oh, plugin development's the thing on the server. Let's apply. Let's apply. What's the worst that could happen? They say no, and then they said yes, and then I joined as developer.
Nice. Sorry, I kind of zoned out thinking about. I was trying to remember your application and the discussion around it. I mean, it clearly went through.
Yeah.
Very nice, man. What languages had you been studying in school?
Java and Python primarily.
Oh, so you were ready.
Yeah.
Very good. Has anything in the game kind of fed back over into school, or has it all been one way? In terms of expertise?
Honestly, the most of what has fed over into school has been managing GitHub repositories, because that's half of what I do, and people do not know how to do that.
Thank God that you do.
Yeah.
I think I've heard Busty say he really appreciates that from you. So thank you for being the reviewer.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you come up with your username?
So, I was going to play Destiny on whatever console it was on. This was after release, and it required a parental account. My dad made MistHelix, and I went, huh, wouldn't it be funny if I just was MistHelix?
Nice.
And that's the entire story.
That's a good story.
I already grabbed the crystal.
Cool. No. Very good. What is the piece of content that has been developed with you here that you like the most and dislike the most so far? Since you've been
like the most is probably Hunts. It took its sweet time cooking in the oven.
For sure.
But I really enjoy the sort of variety in bosses and having to deal with spoils and banishes.
And which quarries were yours?
Steelwing Hawk and early versions of Coca-Cola Bear, which I did not realize was Coca-Cola Bear till Ari told me after I finished the first development.
I'm glad that joke was able to remain unseen for a little bit. It's fun. You were a good sport about it. What is your favorite thing in the game to play, regardless of like your perspective as a developer?
To play, honestly, just dungeons. Primarily R2 dungeons. I also realized I didn't answer the second half of the last question of least favorite thing developed while I was here. And that's probably Zenith.
Really? Oh, that's a hot take. You got to tell us about that.
I do not like randomization, especially with charms. Because I just am never lucky. I think in testing, every legendary charm I got was Cryobox. And if you haven't looked at the Zenith meta, Cryobox is not good. It was not good back in beta either. And that sort of put me off of playing Zenith, only rolling Cryobox.
Sorry.
Like, it has really cool things, but I just don't enjoy randomization.
Yeah, you mentioned that was one of the appeals of our game over Skyblock right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mr. Hobbs. Hello, Mr. Hobbs.
Funny.
Nice name. Well, that is a very hot take. Good job. You hold your position consistently, though. I get it.
Yeah.
So if you were the dictator of Monumenta today, and you could make any change to the game, like big change, and everyone would be happy about it, you wouldn't even upset anyone, what would it be? How would the game be different if you were in charge?
I would delete charms. completely. But I would replace them with the ability to click on the icon to swap it for an alternate skill. In my opinion, charms are at their best when they're like the blue elk charm, which changes how you think about the skill.
Would you remind
compared
me
to
what it is?
it's like slower pulses, but you get more pulses, so it just like lasts forever. But you just have like 2 absorption hearts.
Got it.
Constant. Um, and when you use those, I find that those are the most interesting charms. But the unfortunate reality is R3 forces you to just stack like 2 abilities charms all the way up to max.
Is that what you prefer,
Because
R2
multiplyer's
dungeons?
so hard. Yeah. I also just think I just like mobs being simple. It means I can shut off my brain and listen to Between Two Wolves or other podcasts.
Do you have a favorite podcast that's not ours that you like to listen to?
Um, Total Party Kill,
I don't know it. What is it about?
which is a D&D podcast.
Nice.
Um,
You mean there's
and
others besides Critical Role?
yeah, there's others. It's crazy.
Incredible.
And surprisingly, they haven't had a critical role. Not a critical role. A Total Party Kill in like 300 episodes. Despite their naming.
Very nice. They have 300 episodes? Man,
Yeah,
that's ongoing. When did they start?
a while ago. I want to say 2015, but probably earlier. And that's only for free. I think if I subscribe, they have like 200 more episodes.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, so removing charms. Who is
Yeah.
the other team member that has helped you the most since you got on the team, and who's your favorite?
Who's helped me the most is probably nobody. Bye.
There you go. Good qualifier there. Because after you were talking about Flap never
I
showing
know.
up to meetings, that kind of sounded like no one's helped me. I'm a self-made man.
There's a reason I said it that way.
There you go. Yeah, awesome.
But if I need anything or to discuss anything technical, Pi is almost always around and like willing to discuss and like figure things out on how to improve the code base or review things. Pretty much anything. Pi is there. But in terms of favorite team member, probably Fang, because Fang would be late to meetings but post photos of their cat, which made up for everything.
Good answer. What's his cat's name? I should know this by now.
Maxwell, I believe.
Nice.
Which is not a reason we're playing this dungeon. Sorry, Fang. We're not playing it for your cat being in this dungeon.
He's probably crying right now, wherever he is.
Oh.
Excellent. Checking the questions. Go. Hey, gas. I miss the days when if you killed a ghast while its charge was in the air, the charge would disappear. I started counting on that years ago.
I did not know that was a feature.
It was a long time ago. Vanilla Minecraft. But now the charge keeps going, which makes more sense, but upsets me.
Yeah.
Any particular Minecraft features that you're excited to come out so that you can use them for development?
Scale is one of them. Pretty much all of the attributes, which are like reach, scale, mining speed. I think that's 1.20.5. They just are really cool for item development and other things, and having more ability to change mob sizes rather than having to use slimes will make things easier.
Very cool. What would you use it for, if it's not a spoiler?
I mean, short of like the obvious thing of like pickaxe rework, obviously will get use, but like in terms of things, creating hitboxes, right now you're pretty much forced to use slimes, which are cubes, and while that works, they don't always fit every situation, but they're the only thing that you don't have to spawn a million of to get. a hitbox.
Makes sense. You certainly employed that to great effect in Sirius.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
What was the thing about Sirius that surprised you the most in making it?
How truly awful displays are to work with. Um, I would have figured I'd known all of the math needed going in, but it actually took me learning a decent amount about quaternions to actually be able to write Sirius.
You made that word up on the spot. What on earth is a quaternion?
It is a way of defining a rotation that is unique, like has a unique way to get to it, unlike axis angle, I believe.
I'm just nodding my
But
head,
axis,
pretending I understand what you mean by that. That's
like, so if we're in a sphere, it's a set way to get from point A to point B.
okay, sure.
Like there's only one way to get between those 2 points. Compared to like on if we were just using like the degree offsets, there's an infinite number of ways to get from point A to point B there.
True. And so the quaternion is what in relation to that concept?
It's a way of representing it. I'm sure someone who is more experienced with math will post either in the Discord or comments explaining quaternions better than I can.
I'm looking forward to it. Do you have any regrets about Monumenta development process? Something that you wish we could have done differently, or you did differently?
Part of me regrets picking up the gameplay dashboard because that's a whole field of tech debt that isn't player facing, so it doesn't matter. But it just means I have a lot of legacy code to. I've got a lot of code that I need to maintain that slowly breaks down. So that's probably my biggest regret is taking on the gameplay dashboard.
Sure.
Because it makes me responsible for updating it probably every time Zenith updates.
But are people
on
grateful
top of
for
other
it at
updates.
least?
Shadow is, and some others are too, internally. It's just a lot of work every update to Zenith.
Well, thank you for
And
doing that.
I think
Even if it is
Shadow
your
has an article about it in patron chat or somewhere. I know it got posted somewhere in the pop-up Discord talking about the monitoring Zenith. If you're curious
like on
about
his
more.
blog? Oh,
Yeah.
He has yeah. I've read
Yeah,
several entries on it, but yeah.
I think made a blog and then made a post and linked it in the Monumenta Discord discussing Zenith balancing and how a lot of things around Zenith were done.
Cool. I'll have to remind myself of that later. Very good. When you first started as a dev, did you feel there was like a culture of perfection where you expected to perform right away, or were you onboarded pretty nicely by Pi?
I was onboarded pretty nicely. I'm so sorry to you, Mike, for those early days of suffering. But like, I don't think there was a really culture. I think it was really accepting of failure and willing to work with that because we don't have like a set release schedule. It's not like Zenith's releasing on Monday. Why isn't the first floor boss done? You're working 24 hours until it's done. It's like, okay, cool. We haven't announced it. Let's get things done. Let's try and get it through, but it's fine if it doesn't happen by then. The only time that's not true was like season passes, but
fair, yeah.
those I don't know. Those actually that's probably my biggest regret. Season passes. There were some season passes that I worked on that the finishers weren't done till the week before you could get them.
That's pretty clever. Peeking behind the curtain.
Yeah. Those were not good days for season passes.
Gotcha. Who would have known our team of amateur developers were amateurs in some regards?
Yeah, crazy.
Not have peak professionals. Thank you for doing it, though.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a CTM?
I've only started them.
That's telling. All right.
I've okay, actually that's not true. I finished Diversity, I think whatever the most recent one is. So that's technically a CTM, but in the Monumenta context, I only got halfway through Ragecraft 4. Before I forgot to transfer my Ragecraft 4 file to the new device, and then I stopped playing.
So you got a new computer somewhere in there?
Yeah, I got a new computer,
Nice.
and then and didn't transfer the file, which meant I lost my progress. And then went, I played through half of it. Sorry, it was good, but I don't have motivation to redo half of Ragecraft 4.
I don't blame you. That's fine. Do you have a favorite bit of drama in Monumenta's history or the community?
Yeah, I think for the drama that I've been in the community for, I think it would be the Hexful boss's HP, especially when looking at it now with how quickly Hexful bosses die. Like,
The drama being
oh
what
no,
specifically?
like people were upset about them having 300,000
Oh,
HP
yeah.
and wanting them lowered. Well, nowadays, people are, I don't know, killing them before they even reach like half of their attacks.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. The meta will... Life finds a way, man. The
Yeah.
meta finds a way.
Though, in terms of all time that I know of, probably the Horseman Massacre.
Yeah, that was something else.
I just find it funny that you guys went, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just make this a
Yeah.
hot fix for daily restart.
It was not our wisest option. And I was very much guilty of thinking it was all going to be fine. Anyway. Yeah. Good times. Do you have a favorite subject in school?
Computer science.
Shocker.
Um,
Why?
Shocker, I know. I find it really interesting tackling problems in all sorts of spaces, and its ability to find patterns and use those patterns.
And how long have you been interested in computer science and programming and such?
I answered this question yesterday. It's like 5 years. For the past 5 years. Ish.
Did you answer it to me and I'm forgetting, or someone else?
No, I answered it to someone else.
Gotcha. I didn't
It's
ignore
like
your question.
I had to think about this answer a few days ago.
Cool. So you said you watched Flowey's interview, right?
Yeah.
Did you like his characterization of programming's fun because it makes computers do stuff as a summary?
Yeah. I think that's an accurate summary.
Nice. It's fun. Did you get the crystal?
I was about to ask you, did you get the crystal?
No, but I'm still here, so that's very nice.
I got it.
Thanks. Where is it here?
It's right under. It's right below you.
Gotcha. Have you done that one SKR room that's based on this, where ringing the bell specifically like triggers a trap? Like they just know.
No,
whoever made that just knew all of us ring the bell. It was awful.
No,
So
I've
proud.
only played like 7 SKR rooms, I think. So I have a bunch of scrolls. I just haven't gone. Let's go do SKR today.
Sure. I'm gonna take the quick way
That's fair.
as I read my questions. What has prepared you the best for your work here on the team? School, hobby coding, projects that you've worked on?
Almost. Yeah. So probably the thing that's prepared me best was one of my high school classes where the professor or teacher, I guess, at the time just said, if you don't get anything, if you have to take one thing out of this course, take how to use Git out of this course. And I learned how to use Git at a basic level, and that was honestly the biggest thing for me joining TM. It made it so much easier to participate and just generally be a part of the team, knowing how to do my own changes.
Awesome. Well,
Was it
thank
only
goodness for
3
that teacher.
crystals?
Yeah, for year 1.
Got that. Cool. Ugh.
I was wondering why you were taking the long way. You going
Yeah,
for
no, I
9
was
of the hour?
sort of tangentially. I don't have it, so might as well not throw away the run.
Yeah, for sure. So the only time you fell was at the very beginning to get here?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which I know there's like some way of exploiting to bypass that fall, but I'm not going to worry about that one. Or at least was.
What is the most difficult bug you've encountered working here on Monumenta? Or just problem, it doesn't have to be a bug. Any technical problem you've overcome.
Yeah, the most difficult one that I sort of gave up on is display entities not sending the packet of their transform. So,
Gonna have to explain that like I'm
yeah,
5.
I was about to explain that.
Cool.
So, when Tulin throws her swords, sometimes, depending on if you're looking at Tulin or not, the swords just teleport instead of flying through the air on your screen. And I have fixed that in some scenarios, but I've been unable to actually find a fix that it works consistently, that isn't janky. So sometimes displays just decide, if you're doing long movements, that that's a lot of effort, let me just use teleportation. And it makes animations a lot harder to do when half the time you're testing it and it just goes, nope, I'm at the end now.
How long did it take you to overcome that? Roughly.
Before I found a solution, I think it was a few days before I found a solution that works and looks relatively good.
Yeah, it's a clean looking boss, man. Well, nice. Well done. Do you have a particular skill issue moment from playing Monumenta?
Oh god. Are we in Graves V3 or Graves V4?
Oh, I've never thought of them in that sense. It's just endless grave rework.
Right.
Let's say 4 for the heck of it.
Yeah, for on the last version of Graves, where you drop your items and then be charged an arm and a leg and a kidney.
You got off with just a kidney? It took me a long too.
Oh damn. I didn't have as many epics then.
Except the kings you were running with.
Yeah. So I was running through yellow with a friend and had all of the loot for the entire dungeon on me. And fell in the trap in the nether area. Or is it end or nether? I don't remember. It was one of the two. That's on the top of the stairs. And then I went back again and just failed to click my grave and decided, I can hit the grave click. Let me just click the grave while falling instead of mining down to my grave. No. And then lost an entire delved yellow worth of loot, plus having to pay for 30 HXP worth of unshattering.
Were you on TM by this point?
No, I was not. That made me quit Monumenta for a year.
Okay, then that must have been where I heard about it. But I remember you mentioning this before. That was a legendary loss. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I'm much happier with the current system because that won't happen to me ever again.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say a kidney would have been cheap. You got off. That cost you quite a lot more.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry, dude.
Luckily, my friend did not care about money and just made me responsible for holding all of their money. So it's not like I was responsible for half the loot also.
Nice. So excuse me. Random yawn. Since all of our dev work is voluntary, we can't pay you, what keeps you motivated? Why are you still here, man? We keep trying to chase you off with hard things and get repository checks and
yeah. And rewriting history, yeah. The thing that keeps me here is developing my own style of bosses. This is really like the only place where you can get that live sort of feedback, um, and develop your own style of things. Um, because the game industry is, let's just say, not a great place to be. Um, and you still get that sort of experience here in TM, of that ability to develop what you want, and if anything, it's more freeing than the game industry.
For sure. How close is Sirius to your ideal boss fight? What would you change it? Yeah.
In terms of things I'd change, I personally, well, I made a world boss. I don't love world bosses.
Hmm.
They have a lot of restrictions. Like, I enjoy some of them, but especially in R3, I don't enjoy them because too much of it is designed with restrictions. Because you have the issue of, I mean, at this time it wasn't prevalent, but I foresaw something like this happening where a party could come in with Hexfall level DPS, but even higher. And you have to balance your boss for that, while also balancing it for casual players who have to reach the last, like, 5 seconds of Hexfall to win. At the same time, that creates a absolute nightmare, for trying to develop. And I don't love some of the side effects of that in Sirius, but there's a lot of things I like about Sirius, especially it being its own unique style compared to other world bosses.
Now, why is that an issue relevant to world bosses and not just bosses in general? Balancing for both
Because
the extremes.
you have more players, the disparity in DPS becomes greater.
Understood.
Uh, it's
Yeah,
the
20,
unfortunate
25
reality.
Hexfall sweats are going
25,
to do a whole lot more proportionally. Sure.
and yeah, compared to what they could do in like a 6-person boss.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense. And so, would it be fair to say that your objective-based, stage-based setup to the health was counter to that?
Yeah,
Clever.
that was a part of it, and also just like figuring out a unique style. And it was definitely led that way by talking with Bang, wanting the boss to be different, as Sirius is stronger than us to some extent and is like in a form where we can't necessarily attack Sirius head on. We can't do our crit jumps and go bye Sirius. We have to take more different avenues to hurt Sirius.
Makes sense. It's kind of the issue with like any Lovecraftian thing is Cthulhu is so far beyond you. What are you going to do to oppose him? Like, you can't just make it like a shooter. Oh, I'm going to shoot Cthulhu in the thigh enough times and he'll die.
We needed a way for you to beat Sirius for story reasons. No, we should just make Cthulhu where you shoot
beat
them.
Sirius. I thought you said be serious.
Yeah, beat.
Okay.
No, beat Sirius. It'd be really funny
that was
if we
really
could
bad
become
pun.
Sirius.
Yeah.
Now we just need to make Cthulhu and bring in Witchbane Revolver so that you can shoot them in the thigh.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really what Monument has all been leading towards. Not the Black Wool, not not Calder.
I mean,
Cthulhu.
Haven't you read the lore? Haven't you read the lore? Clearly, Cthulhu is trapped inside of the Black Hole.
Definitely.
No, my strategy for lore is just ask Fang to explain the lore to me.
Yeah. There's not many people who fully understand it anymore. It's because originally even the premise of like, why are we collecting these wolves for the monument? What is it special about, sheep fur? We had to come up with a premise for all that, so the whole spirit's trapped inside them.
The sheep fur.
Glorious second.
It's funny to think of them as sheep fur. I think our lore team would take a little bit of offense to you calling them sheep fur, but
who would?
Our lore team.
I mean, that's what wool is. It's literally just sheep. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it is, but I think it undersells the power contained within that.
Absolutely, but
I also
just
don't.
the
I don't.
use of wool, like wool blocks
Yeah.
all things. The only reason
Yeah.
that's originally there is because they were 16 colors for 16
Yeah.
objectives. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you. What were you saying?
I don't remember where we were at.
All right. So what's something you wish the player base would really quit in with doing? This is one of the old patron questions.
The thing I wish they would do most is actually report bugs instead of just saying, "Hey, this is an issue in bug report discussion. Please fix, developers." I've lost out. If I had a dime for every time I fixed one of those, I'd probably have $1 already.
Nice.
Somehow, the main Monumental website being down wasn't considered a bug by people.
When was this?
Like a month or two ago,
Whoa.
it just crashed, and I needed to restart it, but I
And no
only
one
found
told
it
you.
because I was scrolling bug discussion and someone, yeah, hey, is the main Monumental website meant to be down?
No. Oh my gosh.
uh, yeah. So please report the bugs. I want more bugs. I want to fix more bugs for the leaderboard. No bias.
Tell us about the leaderboard.
I think there's a bug fixing leaderboard in the bot, or is it bug reporting? I don't remember. Um, that's literally the entirety of it.
All right.
Number go up.
Number go up. Why is Monumenta special to you as a game, not just as a development tool?
It's completely free. Well, besides like whatever you're paying for Minecraft, but that's besides the point. And the devs are just from the community and aren't being paid and are just developing this because they want to, and they're developing what they want instead of. Well, this quarter we think Battle Royale is going to be the best thing for our bottom line. Let's make it Battle Royale. Instead, we just develop what we want, or which leads to stuff like Brown just being developed at some point by Chris and Ashley just going, let's go, we have copper, let's go.
Yep. And the deep lore comes as a result of that.
Yeah.
Very good. What are your hobbies outside the game?
Outside of the game, doing sound and lighting production for events is one of my biggest hobbies. So I get to touch all sorts of fun soundboards. Which, well, there's some others that do sound design on TM. I'm the one who uses the widest variety of equipment, because most of them are in stationary setups. Well, I deal with a lot more mobile setups, which means I get to do fun things like drive equipment that normally you see on construction sites, like those, those extending like arm platforms on wheels.
Mm-hmm. Cherry pickers.
I get to drive those.
Cool.
I call them boom lifts.
Extremely.
And yeah.
How'd you get started in
that? It was just a club on my college campus. And but before that, I did sound design in high school for theater. But like now, I've expanded beyond theater because I don't know if you were a theater kid, Ari, but Tech Week. I can't do Tech Week like every year anymore. It's so much.
I apparently wasn't a very good theater kid because I do not know what Tech Week was.
Or whatever it is. When you're teching the show, so adding lighting and sound and backstage crew into it and running through it to get everything sorted on that end so it looks as good as it can before the audience sees it. And let's just say having 12-hour days of that, I don't want to do that anymore.
I don't blame
where
you.
I have to hit a button 5 times in the entire day. That was the life of doing sound design.
No, I don't like that at all. I don't blame you for wanting out.
Yeah.
But do you enjoy your current sound work?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy it because it's all the fun of getting to do that sort of thing without the incredibly long weeks or long week of um, work. It's condensed into a day or two.
Superb. What else? Hobby-wise.
In terms of other things that I'm going to talk about here, mainly playing games. Uh, Unsurprisingly, as a TM developer, I might play video games outside of Monumenta.
Inconceivable. What are some of your favorites and why?
Um, Factorio, the factory must grow.
Yeah.
Um, I'm finally getting back into Space Age, and that's certainly a trip. Um, so I never actually finished Space Age at the time because I got too busy with school and then didn't want to touch it. Um,
How far did you get on your
Otherwise,
first run?
on my first run, I launched my first rocket and went, oh shit. Actually, I didn't launch my first rocket. I was building too much of a mega base because I thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to launch a billion rockets. And then got demotivated as school was picking up when Busty said, yeah, you actually just should just go to space quickly instead of building like the ability to launch like 100 rockets. Um, you don't need that many rockets. You should just go to space.
Yeah, it's good advice. So how far are you on this
Besides
run?
that, on this one, I've beaten Vulcanus and am currently doing Gleba. So two of five, four,
Five.
five planets.
Well, the 5 big ones, yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, Dota 2. I have only like 2.5 thousand hours.
Oh,
Um,
is that
uh,
legitimately a small number? MOBAs seem to be the kind of things where anything
uh,
less than 5k is noob.
yeah, most of the people I see have like 5,000.
Gracious.
Um, Besides that, other games, StarCraft 2 co-op is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. Um, and I wish more people played it, and it actually had development, but that's a different issue. Is there a crystal over here?
I got it.
Okay, cool.
You want to just oh no, man of the
Oh
hour.
yeah, I mean I already failed.
Oh.
So yeah, let's just fall. And then what was the last one? Terraria. Just so much is added by the modding community to that game.
For sure.
It's absolutely insane how big mods like Calamity and Thorium are. It's like, oh, hey, we just doubled the base game content. Enjoy. And it's truly wild to me how much a modding community can keep the game alive.
Mm-hmm. Not that it's really dead. Didn't Journey's End come out
Yeah,
like a year and a half ago?
yeah. Not that it's really dead, but like, so many people play Tmod. Um, that like, it's just, I mean, even not just using Terraria, but like, I don't think Minecraft would be as successful as it is if the modding scene wasn't big. Like,
Absolutely
the
not.
ability to do your own thing, like Monumenta, just helps keep the game alive. That other things are on other games that don't support modding aren't able to keep up with as well as much. Um, oh god, I hate this boss. um, yeah, but besides that, those are like the main ones I've been playing that I really enjoy as of late.
Did you know Factorio came about because of Minecraft modding?
No, I didn't. Um,
It was explicitly because of like the Greg Tech or all the Minecraft mods. The guy loved the automation stuff so much that he made Factorio because of that.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Just proving your point further.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, between like Minecraft and Factorio and Terraria, those are like the three. I don't know why they're so similar in terms of their appeal, but if someone likes one, I'm not surprised when they like the other two.
They're really radically different games too.
Right, but for some reason they appeal the same way. Like,
Yeah.
and there's a word for
I
it,
don't
I'm
know.
sure.
I feel like Factorio has a lot less appeal than Minecraft and Terraria personally, because I hear of a lot more children playing Minecraft and Terraria than I hear about, oh, I'm playing Factorio,
True.
or at least getting deep into Factorio. But yeah, if you're an adult, I do see the um, overlap between those three.
That was like the first time I felt like this arena really lived up to its name. Felt like
Yeah,
everyone just got up from
yeah,
their seats and jumped down in the arena with us. It was cool. Sorry,
yeah.
Lament.
I'm not used to that many mobs in that section.
If there's any like pro warlock players screaming at their screen for how unoptimized I am, I'm a little rusty. I'm not playing Tenebrist optimally. My rotation is way off. I'll wait by your grave.
Isn't it just hit all your spells and then hit Ampex?
I mean, generally, yeah, but our timing is I don't have everything off cooldown
Yeah,
each time I start.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it is a random stuff go. Slap the keys.
Go
and move
bullshit.
on. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Slap the key, except for Ampex has been set to a special keybind that I can only hit if I want it.
Yep. You know. What are you studying in school right now? Oh,
I'm
you
studying
said that, comp sci, right?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm studying comp sci.
My mistake.
I mean, it's fine. You're going down your list of questions. The patrons can hear it twice.
What is your fondest memory of Monumenta as a player and a developer?
As a player, exploring R3 for the first time and finding broken combos with charms. My friend
So
really
you
loves
do
the
like
regen.
them.
I liked them conceptually, but I do not like them as a developer. My friend went, I love regen. Let's full stack regen and fully stack charms, and went AFK in the MR lava void. With I think it was Axed, the mod lead, looking and going, "What the fuck?" And then moving on. Oh,
That's awesome. It's like the equivalent of people in an FPS claiming you're hacking or you're aimbotting.
yeah.
They're so powerful. Are they cheating? That's awesome.
And the best part was, it literally did nothing useful. Because they just couldn't fight anything. They were just in the middle of the void AFKing. And then my favorite memory as a developer is watching like 20 people die to Sirius, like a day or two after release. Going, let's get the achievement. Everyone, we can parry it. Get under Sirius. Can't hurt us.
Amazing. What are some other favorites of yours? Favorite movie, book, musical artist, television show, anything like that you want to talk about?
I love Babylon 5.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. Despite not enjoying season 1 as much as the later seasons, I still love it. I love The West Wing, which is radically different.
Than Babylon 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just love a lot of the storytelling and like how it sets up hooks that they follow up on like 4 seasons later. For you to catch on to, and despite rewatching it now that I'm older, I'm going, this hits a bit too close to home when they're like debating the budget. I went, that's a bit close to home, but otherwise I just love the series. I regret my life choices.
So how would you, to those who are unfamiliar with Babylon 5, how is it separate than most other sci-fis? What sets it apart?
How do I put it? I mean, compared to Star Trek, it's a lot more grounded. It sort of has a similar theme of being episodic, but at least in my experience of Star Trek, They generally don't try and do something overarching across like the entire season. And Babylon 5 tells a whole story across seasons while also having the sort of episodic nature where you can generally pick up on like an episode or two and still go, I know exactly what's happening. I don't feel out of place. Um, and still have that.
Cool. You ever seen Firefly?
No, I keep on going, I need to watch Firefly.
I was just wondering if that might be familiar to you.
Yeah. I've seen The Expanse.
Nice.
Which I didn't like, but the space battles are really cool. 10 out of 10 would recommend watching the Expanse space battles. Maybe not the rest of the series. In terms of other favorites for books, I love the Inheritance cycle.
Oh, yes. Oh, boy. I don't know. Have we not talked about this? Very cool.
I don't think we have.
Have they made more? I think I heard something about Christopher Paolini.
I heard something about that, and then I haven't dug into that deeper.
Nice.
So, probably.
Which is your favorite of the four?
Oh god, now I have to remember. I believe it's 2 or 3. I don't remember. They just sort of blend into one in my brain. I like when Aragon is with elves.
Yeah, that's Elvis. That's 2.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's Brissinger is the 3rd. Alright. Yeah, that's probably my favorite section because it's so interesting seeing a very different culture.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of him at his lowest with his injury and.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, man, I'm surprised that's never been brought up before. That we both love those.
Yeah.
Music? What do you enjoy listening?
Music? Generally, I don't listen to music unless I'm like having to. In terms of music I listen to most often is Closing Time.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's a great way to end an event and tell everyone that it's closing time. Otherwise, I listen to game OSTs a lot.
Yeah, what are some of your favorites?
You may not have heard of this. It's a small Minecraft server called Monumenta.
No way. That's awesome.
They've got some great composers. Otherwise, I like the Hollow Knight soundtrack.
Yeah. What are the standout tracks of both ROST and Hollow Knights?
The Fire Hydrant's music. I don't remember his name. I just remember Fire Hydrant.
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone pronounce it. Gearheadant?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I was tempted to ask Fang to join in a voice call to pronounce it, and then went, nah. It's funnier to be Fire Hydrant and Iota are some of my favorites from ours. And then from Hollow Knight, the Nightmare Grim soundtrack is a real standout in my opinion.
A banger, as the kids say.
Yeah. Oh.
Very good. What do you think is the best boss fight in like any video game ever? Like the gold standard of if you could make one like that, ooh, you'd have made it.
Gold standard. No, this one takes some thought. I'm scrolling through my Steam library, thinking through memories.
Yeah, sure.
Ignore the part where I've got 300 games, which makes that a little difficult.
Those are rookie numbers, man, for a Steam library.
Yeah.
That just shows that you love video games. Good for you.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna check mine too while we're at it. How many am I at?
Well, actually, I'm at 400. Never mind. I forgot that I sorted 75 into a separate category.
Very good. I'm at 336. You got me beat. Well done.
In terms of favorite boss fight, that at least comes to mind scrolling through this, which is unusual, is probably StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm's. Now I need to remember the name of the dude. It's a giant. Not Heart of the yeah, Heart of the Swarm. It's a giant green dude. Which is it's an interesting fight from my perspective, because while it's not difficult, I like the spectacle and how Blizzard went about doing boss fights in an RTS. And I find it really interesting seeing that sort of style divergence compared to other games where you are expecting a boss fight.
Would it be fair to say any of the DNA of that fight made it into how you approach Sirius?
A little bit of the DNA of that fight went into how I approach Sirius, but not a lot of it. Mainly just tentacle swipes, which I feel like is pretty standard for boss fights. With like if your boss has tentacles, you're probably swiping with them. So I wouldn't consider that special to just that boss. And most of the boss, while I've attempted to see how it plays, I've realized that it doesn't really fit Monument. It's more about having a unique style. Because like most of it is about top down and dodging while also trying to do damage as fast as possible. Which, well, that's what we do. It's a very different style compared to Monument, but I find it interesting playing games with a different style of boss, or where we don't expect bosses.
That makes sense. By that logic, what is the Monument boss that fits the game most, in your opinion?
That fits the game most?
Yeah,
probably,
like you were saying Sirius doesn't.
Yeah.
So what does?
Yeah, probably Lich fits the game most. It has stuff for everyone to do, no matter what. It plays into I don't even know if it's optimal, but players manage to play into most of our aspects besides like mining. But you see players building in Lich like every single time you play it, most, or at least in my experience. In a public lobby, you see people playing, you see people using all sorts of weapons and collaborating, and it still has unique stuff. Like
Phylactery.
I think everyone, when they do it the first time, goes GG after beating phase 1, and then you go, oh shit. I think the first time I took my hands off the keyboard and stretched, and then and then got hit with a rude awakening.
That's great. I'm so glad you were fooled by that.
And moments like that are like really special. Like it's not like every time I go, oh cool, there's a fake out. It's like I know it's coming in the future, but it still feels special. Especially how it's handled, and it like fits thematically, and all of it is well put together. Flop did a good job spending years on it, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was an intern, kind of echoing your story for. It wasn't 2 years, but it was over a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it with us in recruiting interns to do world bosses that also turn out really well?
I think at some point, Flop asked me in serious development, "Am I slow coder?" Because he saw how fast I was progressing with Sirius, and I went, I think I'm just a relatively fast coder compared to you, and spending a lot of time on it.
Nice.
But also Lich went through, like, from what I've heard, like 5 different development cycles of different styles and boss attacks until we reach the final Lich.
Sounds about right. Excellent. What is something about you that's interesting that I would never think to even ask you about in the first place? Kind of free question.
Free question.
Yeah. Or what's a question you wish I would ask you so that you could talk about it? Here's your open forum.
You know, I don't think it's appropriate for this, but I think it's
Okay.
interesting too.
Should I cut the recording?
No, no.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I don't think it's necessarily like what you would normally ask, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's interesting to discuss how, like, as a developer, like working with people and working with the community, because like, while this has been true, it hasn't been really utilized. Monumenta is technically open source. Ignore the part where the open repo or repository didn't get updated for a year. We don't talk about that one.
What open repository?
But do you not know about the fact that our plugin code all gets published to?
I'm being
Oh,
facetious. Like, we don't
sorry.
talk about that. What do you mean? What?
Yeah.
We're talking about what?
So all of our code, for the most part, within generally a month, except for when GitHub decided to break on me, gets pushed to the public repository unless it's secrets for upcoming content. This means people can develop their own things for the game. If they have small changes, recently, portals now don't send you through them if you're sneaking, so that you've got a way of escaping infinite portal loops. That was done by someone contributing to the public repository. In the past, we've had the resource pack team decide to do some changes to GUIs and contribute at least the foundation framework to get that working. And I want to see more of that. And if you have questions, ping me in DevTools. It's not necessarily a question, but like more pointing out that we are open source, and we'd love to, and at least I'd love to see some more simpler contributions, be it simple stuff like stopping portals or more complex stuff like adding stuff to BUIs. I mean, it's going to be restricted. It's not like, oh, I've got the skill cosmetic set, add it to the game. But there's certainly a lot that can be done.
What kind of expertise would someone have to want to contribute in that way? What do you have to know coming in?
You probably just need to know some basic coding and like know what you want and scale. So like, if there's features that annoy you, I think USB got on the team by like being annoyed with some optimization on the loot box and rewrote the loot box and applied it that way. And it's like, you can do stuff like that, and that takes a lot more coding knowledge. Or you can like do basic things like, I really just want to be able to exit an infinite portal loop. Please let me hold shift. Let me go find the code and add something to escape if you're holding shift. But there's a duality of like, you need some amount of coding experience, but you don't need the ability to completely rewrite Monumenta tools to do it.
Understood. So yeah, if you're watching this and want to do that, DevTools is a good channel for it. Being missed. I'll have to set you on that. That's really noble of you, wanting to point people to that. While we have your audience wrapped watching this interview, is there anything you want to say to them personally? To the players, the patrons, the other devs?
From personally, I'd say enjoy Monumenta. I'm sure you all love it, and be patient. Content takes time. I know all of you guys want content, but hold your horses. It takes a lot of time to develop high quality content that we've set forth, and give us time.
Amen. Unless Mist is making it, because then he can churn out Sirius quicker than Hecot, apparently.
Yeah.
We can't all be wizards. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and for your hard work for the game, and being a good teammate here in Teal, as I was a bad, very suboptimal warlock.
I think I was throwing harder. I spent way too long in the water section trying to break 2 spawners.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to a good deal more time.
Thank you for doing these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to working with you too.
And thank y'all for watching. See you later. Bye.